morning, beautiful family. So I thought I'd try and vlog today. I'm not on a main road, I'm on a back road, so I thought I'd cut this in. I'm just on my way for a morning meeting. Thought I'd try and give you a little bit of look at a day in the life, because life is a little bit different when I'm back in Tanzania. A bit tired, a bit bleary-eyed. Akila fell out of the bed last night. He's just gotten to the point where he can move, and we didn't realise he could move that much yet, so unfortunately he fell out of bed, which means everyone got a broken night's sleep. However, I'm now heading to Angel's Gate to meet the team to start the Monday operational meeting, so we can iron out all of the problems and start the week with a level playing field. So pick up when I get there.
These days, even my closest of cohorts are telling me it's a waste, and that society is fine and it's me that should change. Yeah, but stubborn and convinced that I know my own name, and that the revolution can and will take.
Heavy welcome here.
Now when shit need to be done, I do. When I walk my talk and I walk right through. I said the hills of Babylon, the road we travel on eventually will come true. But I see a message that was meant for us.
The man himself.
But I wish that everyone would
Just got the camera out.
But I guess I'll take the weight.
Modesty. Good. There's a lot of new faces here who I've not met, which is good. So we started up outreach again on the street, and they have increased nearly by 20 boys from what we were this time last year staying here. This is the Music Creative Arts School, which is connected to the residential and the classrooms, which is the other side where I just was, and I didn't have the camera out for them saying hello, but I had like a million hugs to deal with. It's always beautiful. I wish one would video it so you'd see. This is where the boys do art when it's too hot, and this is the neighbours who are very patient considering we have such a huge sound system here. So, anyway, on for morning meeting. I'm Jambo. You're on YouTube today, Poleni. So, my part of the morning meeting is over, the rest are continuing. Twice a month we meet here for our Monday meeting, or the team does. I'm often not present for it because, well, I'm just so busy doing other stuff that I don't need to be too involved in operations on the ground these days. So guys, you know, no washing machine here in Tanzania. So Johnny has to wash his clothes by hand with his soap. And this is Johnny. Johnny's actually the second boy I met who was a street boy, so he's the reason Angel Gate exists, is actually this young man here. He's a bit shy, and he's not happy, because he just escaped boarding school and came back because they weren't feeding him well enough, so got some politics to deal with. On we go. Okay, so now I have to head to Featherstale, which is a 20-kilometer drive. I've also just been stopped by one of our social workers to say there's a lady with a brain tumour who needs around about $1,000 to be transferred to a hospital that can operate on it, because at present she's just at home having seizures, etc. Because she's not getting any treatment, so I need to get that sorted fast. So I guess you'll probably see me making a fundraising video today as well. Okay.
We're living in life with one hand off the wheel, with acceptance of what is and what isn't real. Say I'm just here for the thrill of it all. is all our lessons learned.
Those who've watched me for a long time remember how bad this road was. It was all rocks and boulders, and now we have a nice smooth road up to the children's village, ideal for transporting the kids around. And at the same time, I wanted to tell you all, when I get there, we finally got electricity in Featherstale. It's not solar power, and I've done that with support on purpose, and I'll explain why. So we've now become not fully off the grid, but with practical reasons based around sensory actually for that.
Skies as hard days, well I feel swooned and in awe, but I'm trying to draw conclusions, but I'm too amazed. But I see the way that the water meets land, but I see the way that the strings meet my hand, but the way the mountains arise collide with the sky. What a bliss to be part of the plan. Well, I see human interaction going to another level. My brothers and my sisters wanna grow and rebel.
For those of you with a keen eye, you will recognize this lady, who is a security guard, as a recent video of a woman who was living in a dreadful condition, in a breeze block room on the floor with her daughter. Thanks to you guys, she now has employment here as a female security guard, which we needed, because you can't just have males if you need to search someone, etc. We are in a developing country. People do steal sometimes, unfortunately. So, and with new staff starting, the existing staff were good, but new staff, we had problems. First time in the whole time I've been here, we have mains electricity here. We did this just before Christmas. That was never an option before. We've always been off the grid, and we are still mostly off the grid. But we need mains electricity because we were lacking certain things on the solar power, and we just didn't have the money to keep buying batteries and panels, etc. So we've connected mains. It allows us to have more sensory rooms in here, in the activity house, basically physio house as we call it, treatment room, whatever, and on Nora's home as its proper name is. And also for washing all of the nappies, we do everything by hand. Now we can get a machine, and we need a machine, we really do.
They said the sights, the sound, the sky, the ground, what a sound, the word, the shepherd, the herd. But there's so much to see, so much to be, but there's so much to bask in, so go and be free. Well, I say run with your shoes off, run into the sky. Your instincts are perfect, be free, you can fly. But there's so much to see, so much to be, but there's so much to bask in, so go and be free. I said there's so much to see. So much to be, hey, yeah. But I said there's so much to see, and there's so much to be. What a blessing of life, one that is eternal. Harmonious structures, internal, external. Well, a living in life with one hand off the wheel, with acceptance of what is and what isn't real. Say I'm just here for the thrill of it all.
Hey, Mambo. Baba Yupo. Habari ya siku nyingi. Nzuri? Sawa sawa.
Teka basi. Teka. Nita.
Hodi. Asante.
Karibu.
Asante samahani, chukua video.
Rachel,
Rachel, mambo.
mpepoa. Mpepoa.
Pendeza. Beautiful. Ivan. Lalale. Sawa sawa. The kitchen is in the middle of renovation, and this is why it looks like it does. We've been fitting these. You may recall I mentioned recently about getting these local burners in, which is what these are. They are not ready yet, of course. Everything's still getting built and getting painted and tiled. And some of our old solar power that's being moved around, being wildlife proofed as well. So keeping the wildlife out, which is what this is for. So our finally repaired and renovated Nora's home is not yet fully finished, I will say, however, but it is now in much better shape. This is a physio room, and everything in here is new and was only arriving with us in December, thanks to the blessings that we received. The room is not finished. We were still renovating, and we are still in need of money for construction costs, etc. But we are on our way.
You can have it all, every part of my world. Take this life and breathe on this heart that is now yours. You can have it all, every part of my world. Take this life and breathe on this heart that is now yours. Oh, the joy I found surrendering my crowns at the feet of a king who surrendered everything, and all the peace that comes when I'm broken and undone by your arm.
So, just called in to see these young ladies. Whoa. Okay.
Kachokozi yako.
This is Skipper Pale Girls' Home, so you all know. Pamela, who's a little bit famous, I think. Seems she married Roger. Logo here. She's not been very well. Dogo was rescued by a disabled girl in, well, about 50-60 kilometers from here. She went missing one day, and they found her 9 hours later with 3 puppies in a field, and it was, well, she was one of them. So.
Usilamba, ukilamba unapeperuka. Umesikia? Umesikia? Ukilamba tu. Kwaheri mwalimu.
Coming. And here we are building a area for chickens, so our children can learn how to raise them and care for them properly, and of course we also get eggs from it. Extremely important to allow the children to have full access to all types of nutrition here. And at first I wouldn't keep animals due to my vegan beliefs, but I grew up a little bit on that, and I realized that in this environment where people can either eat like maize and beans and rice and greens, and when they get older they'll be out there doing that, it's not an adequate diet. They need to have something in there. So eggs is a perfect way to do it here. There's just so much space, so much land, and you can keep them in your backyard. Of course, it's better than importing stuff from overseas. Not that most of our kids would ever be able to afford to import stuff from overseas, but either way, we have the beginning of our chicken house, so we'll be able to have fresh eggs for everybody. And we'll also be keeping goats at some point, because when I get puppies that need rearing without a mother, I can't keep importing the special puppy milk, and goat milk is the next best alternative. So if I take some dairy goats that were in a bad way and bring them here so they have a good time, then of course this is this is better for the goat, and also better that our kids learn animal husbandry, because like 90+% of Tanzanians are farming, and majority of them are keeping animals as well. So, Hero, I've missed you too. It's been a very long time, hasn't it? Hero. For those of you who don't know, here, this is a solar water heater up on the roof of our homes. We have those, so the children can have a warm bath. Well, a hot shower, more than a bath. I've got my good trousers, so I'm not coming in today. I'll see you all next time. Hello Gruffalo. Too many responsibilities these days. I can't get to see everything as much as I'd like. Come on, past that. It's enough now. It's enough now. Come on. Hey, Marley. Marley. Doing there, and what Ali is doing here, is actually progress for us. So originally we had such a big rat problem in this area of Uchira that I put these around all the trees. That stops rats from climbing the trees, and with so many dogs, obviously allows us to thin out the numbers and feed the dogs, let nature take its course. The rat problem is now dealt with. No poisons, nothing like that, but managed using good tactics that don't damage the surrounding environment. And now, because of that, we can remove all of our rat's leaves from the trees, and we can have our beautiful nature back without silver silver stripes around all the trees in Featherstale. Okay. So busy, always building, construction, cooking, living. It's just always something happening in Featherstale. So this is a rare sight. Unfortunately, some people snuck through our protection of the forest and they felled some huge trees. I have since prosecuted them, and it worked in our favour. Sometimes knowing that people are getting punished, it would seem, is enough to deter people, and the forest is flourishing despite the fact that this mighty 100-plus-year-old tree had to suffer. So what I did was I took all of the wood out of the forest, and obviously rather than it just rotting and going to waste down there, we are going to use it for various things: seating, wheelchair playground, etc., decoration. some benches and so on. But it's just getting varnished, and the guy's disappeared, and it's going to rain, and he's already took the bark off, so I've told them to bring him back and get it varnished as quick as possible, so as it survives the rainy season, which is looming any day soon. But you can see we have these other cuts, and I'll be making some tables and stuff out of them. But you would never normally see chopped wood like this in Featherstale, but by taking it out of the forest, it also makes sure other people don't get the bright idea that they can cut down the trees. Our banana orchard as well, which is inside Featherstale. So much to show you all. What else? By the way, this is Simon. So all of the footage that you see when I'm not in the country, this is the guy behind the camera. I'm getting tired. I'm not the man I used to be. I just don't have the stamina for it, but I've got a lot done today. And there's a thunderstorm just starting here. This used to be my home, and nothing out there existed, only bush. In fact, dik-diks used to come here, if you know what those are, I'll put a picture in. They used to come here to the land. It was so natural before we had fences around it. Just reminiscing. Time gone by. I miss it, but I'm grateful it has gone by, because at least all the kids now have home. Vlogging, so you're on YouTube today as well. So this is that whole room of people you just saw who were busy, and I've put them on camera without asking permission. They are all occupational therapists and physiotherapists, and they are just busy setting their appointment schedule for the kids. So it operates like Mambo. Of course, Esther is the first ever special needs child. From this little seed was born a very mighty tree. So, and recently you saw her mum got married, and she now has a father who loves her very much as well. Esther, tu te chas badai, eh? So. So they are setting their schedule. So the children, this building is going to be treated like a mini hospital for therapy. So when these children need an appointment, because there's so many kids now, it's like 9 o'clock, you must go to therapy, and our caregivers must have them ready for that. So that's what they were doing. Pretty complex when you've got over 100 kids here, but much needed as well. And I'm so grateful that we have that team now. I just hired them last year. I just literally said, by faith and not sight. And I hired 4 professionals all at once, which I've never done. But I realized that I've been limiting God a lot. And thus I said he will provide his children, and sure enough he did. The sponsor came forward out of the blue, asked what we needed, and sorted out their salaries. So on that topic, you will see this. I had these built recently. We had a donation from a footballer, and I will do a whole video about this footballer. But this footballer, actually, the land I'm standing on actually bought this land so we could build the rest of Featherstale. Now, they sent us a donation before Christmas because it was somebody's birthday. And normally, things like a wall, something aesthetic, I don't do. I always just say, people need help, people are hungry, I can't do that. I can't spend money on something like a wall. However, cleanliness and tidiness is important. We had the Minister of Health came to visit us the other day. They were very happy and impressed with it, etc. But we had rusty fence poles and just cheap solutions to things. So I said to myself, do I build a wall? Do I do that? Do I make the place look beautiful? Because this is home, and it's home for the children, and many never ever leave here. And I profoundly got hit by God that I'm the one limiting him. He's got enough love, resources and care to build a wall and feed a child. The problem is when we limit God with our belief. And that's exactly the reality that I unfortunately put this community under, because I was limiting God with my belief. So now we have these beautiful walls instead of the old rusty fences that you can see on the side of the house there. Don't limit God. If, is what I've learned, if a child is in need, and a child's home, well, Harry, yes, and a child's home is in need of making it look beautiful, making it look homely, he will provide more. I used to limit all the time and say, only one, only the food, only this, and it was not true. I was the limiting factor, unfortunately, for the expansion of this community to be much bigger than what it is. But come back to me in another 6 years, and let's see just how big we can get it. Now that God has firmly trained me over the last years with my sickness about speaking life into my reality, not death, and never limiting God with my belief and my words. So, I think my work is nearly done. And before I go, I don't know, I'm so tired at the moment, I might not as well. I might just call down to the forest just to rest, basically. Actually, just to meditate for half an hour to an hour before I go. Maybe I will. Let's see. I'm just going to call to the office and then I will be leaving. So I did have a meditate, but it was kind of drawn time, so I didn't really want to video that or share it with you. Just pulled over on my way home to look at the beautiful, where is she? Ah, here, sorry. The majestic Kilimanjaro here. And just to say, well, that was one day in the life. Now I'm going to go home and eat because I'm extremely hungry. And unfortunately, my day was so long, my boys are now in bed, so I haven't seen them much today either. Such is the life of those of us who work, I guess. Anyway, I'll have a nice relaxing drive home and an early night, and I'll pick up tomorrow. Don't know if I'm going to start doing this regular, maybe I will. Big love, guys.
You can this life and breathe on this heart that is now